Hello everybody, Resonance here, and today I have another expert game for you guys as part of my new Break the Meta series for Age of Empires 2. Throughout this series I'll be showcasing a wide variety of creative and situational strategies while evaluating how they might stack up in the current metagame. We've all seen our fair share of galley rushes and knights, so today it's time for something completely different. It's time for a strategy called the Persian Douche. In this expert match, Nir and Pooh will be playing against GoodBoy in a 1v1 on the map Arabia. At the top corner of the map, we have Nir and Pooh playing as the Green Persians. And on the bottom corner of the map, we have GoodBoy, aka Zhao playing as the Red Huns. The Persian Douche is a very, very interesting strategy that we don't see too much of in the current metagame, and it is incredibly unorthodox. There's really no other strategy in the game like this, and from the name, it's kind of hard to tell what you should be expecting. And that's where things get really, really fun. The Persian Douche involves you deleting your town center, like halfway through the Dark Age, deleting your town center, and taking almost all of your villagers, walking them towards the enemy, and building a new town center in very close proximity to the opposing town center. Then you put all your villagers inside the town center and start raining arrows down upon your enemies. This strategy is absolutely nuts. It's called the Persian Douche because it's really hard to do this on other civilizations because the Persians have, double the HP on their town center. They have 4,800 opposed to the normal 2,400. So that basically means that in a town center versus town center fight, the Persians are very, very, very favored. And oh man, for a GoodBoy over here, when the town center comes down, he's going to be in big, big trouble. He won't be able to actually take that down in a fair fight. Another part of the strategy that's super duper important that we'll see in a moment involves the part where, you occasionally ungarrison your own villagers to repair your town center. And the hope with this strategy, because obviously deleting your town center is devastating on your own economy. Absolutely devastating. The point is that you're going to try and cripple your opponent even harder than you have crippled yourself. And one interesting thing that I feel the need to point out here, it's kind of hard to tell because I've been fast forwarding through the early game a little bit, but actually, Nir and Pooh is hunting his boars like one villager early. Like, he only put 2 villagers on the lumber camp before he lured his first boar, whereas it's standard to put 3 on wood and then lure your first boar. He actually put 2. The reason he's doing this is because it's time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, his town center is about to disappear. He's going to take all of his villagers at around 17 population in and walk them all the way across the map to his opponent. And, well, It's gonna be really, really interesting to see how this one plays out. I mean, obviously, when it comes to a 1v1 in Arabia against the Huns, sometimes you just have to improvise. You do, because the Huns have just such an overbearingly strong early and mid-game, because they don't have to build houses, so they save so much wood in the long run, and also their cavalry archers cost less. The good news is, though, for our red player here, GoodBoy, is he actually has his scout in the perfect position, and he sees that all the villagers are moving out here from our green player, Nir and Pooh, so he knows that something's up here. I don't know if he saw all of the villagers that were coming. I don't know if he knows the full extent of the damage that's on the way here. But there are a lot of forward villagers coming. It's either forward barracks or something's messed up. We got the mass migration. He's sending all these villagers here right about now, and the idea is that he wants to get there at a point where he has enough villagers that he can, get his town center basically completely garrisoned and still have a little bit of economy left in his own base, so he can still go harvest some resources. Like, we can see that he does leave a decent amount of villagers behind here, and he's still producing villagers at his town center while those villagers are making it all the way. And once this villager is done, he's going to be at 21 population, immediately delete the town center, and he's going to start building his own right here in range of the enemy. Now, it's also very important when you do this strategy that you make sure that your town center is actually in range of your opponent, and that it's not too close. The thing here is if you build it like too close to your opponent's town center, then your villagers will get sniped off before they even get to finish the TC. In this case, his TC is in range of the opposing TC, but he'll also have like a back area where his villas are out of range, so he can actually build his own new town center safely. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how GoodBoy reacts to this incredibly unorthodox situation. This is going to be great. And back at his own base, Nir and Pooh here does have a couple of villagers left behind. He is going to be trying to gather some resources off the back of this, because while this is a very all-in, incredibly aggressive cheese strategy, it doesn't always necessarily win you the game. You have to have a plan B beyond this, right? So he is going to be gathering resources off the back of this, trying to get to the feudal age eventually. Like I've been mentioning before, really, like, in a straight-up TC on TC fight, GoodBoy stands no chance here against this super fortified Persian town center. The damage here is absolutely astronomical, and another reason why this strategy can be so very devastating is that it makes your opponent, like, if he tries to fight you, town center versus town center, then all those villagers that are inside the TC aren't gathering anything. They might as well be dead. That's so much eco damage. You also waste a ton of wood for your opponent if your opponent has to repair his town center. That's also very, very obnoxious. We can see here that GoodBoy is, you know, I think that making the right decision here. He's not even really trying to garrison too much into his town center and fire back because he knows he can't actually take this fight. He's repairing his town center a little bit though because he really needs to make sure that he gets to the feudal age, and he also wants to, you know, be able to make a couple more villagers before this TC goes down. Here, there's no way that he actually gets to keep this town center, but he does have a chance. He does have a chance because our green player, Nirenpu, is not going to get to the feudal age anytime soon. If we take a look at his economy, right, he has all these villagers inside here. Again, like I said, the way that the Persian Douche is set up, you want to make sure that you can have 15 villagers inside your town center, so that way it's firing the maximum amount of arrows at your opponent, so you kill his TC as fast as possible, and if he tries to fight you, just mow down everything, and then, you know, you leave the extra villagers behind at your base to go gathering things. You know, with the food count going on right now, yeah, Nirenpu's going to be in the Dark Age for a really, really long time. But GoodBoy isn't going to have a town center really, really soon. He's trying to stall this a little bit so he can go get out a few extra villagers, but he's noticed that this TC is going down, and he's going to have to go cope with that. So right now, we have a very, very interesting situation that you never really see in standard AoE2. Someone's in the Dark Age, and then someone's in the feudal age with no town center. Who comes out on top here? That's a really, really tricky one to tell. Green putting a lot of pressure here. He's going to try and get through these palisade walls, but, you know, this is going to get reinforced on the other side, so I don't think he'll really, really get in here. And another fun thing here is that GoodBoy's response is he's like, well, there's not really that much in the realm of economy going on right now, so he just loses his town center. So he's going to put a forward archer range inside Nirenpu's base. Now, I like this decision because there's no defense over here, right? And this is like almost all of Nirenpu's incredibly tiny economy. Green will not really be able to deal with this forward archer range. Just one archer is really all it takes, and like all those villagers are going to be idle. It's going to just do so much damage to that economy. Oh my goodness. GoodBoy here is going to try and put down a defensive watchtower to protect what's left of his eco because he doesn't have a town center anymore. He's going to put down a panic watchtower, and Green's going to respond by pulling like half of his villagers out, and you're going to have a villager fight of the century here. I mean, this definitely, I would say that this does favor Red a little bit, just because Red should have more villagers on this side, and he also has the watchtower threat, because Green has to focus down this watchtower, so in that time, Red has a lot of extra time for his own villagers to go shank his opponents down. He should win this barely, but so much economy damage. Red has 3 villagers actually gathering anything right now. His economy is so weak. And another huge villager fight as Green has had it up to here with this insolence. Another watchtower going down. He has to get these watchtowers up. Otherwise, it is basically GG. He needs to get these watchtowers up to protect his wood line so he can gather enough wood to go build a new town center because he doesn't have one. He's at 19 out of 200 population right now. I think that's a display here. It's 19 out of 200 right now, compared to his opponent who's in the Dark Age with 28 villagers. So, well, 27. He's got 1 scout cavalry. This is absolutely ridiculous. Someone who's never going to get to the feudal age anytime soon versus someone who's in the feudal age with no economy whatsoever. Like I said, here comes the 1 or 2 archers. And this economy is going to be pretty much in shambles here, as we're going to see the cripple fight of the century. It's important to get 2 watchtowers in this case, so I really like this decision on GoodBoy's part to go for the double watchtower here, because watchtowers do have minimum range, right? So he's going to need these 2 watchtowers to secure this area of resources for himself. Otherwise, all the villagers, like we said, can go dogpile on the base of this watchtower and not get shot. This way, both watchtowers protect each other and create like a sort of zone of defense, which is going to be very, very important. This watchtower is also in a good position in that it's out of range of Nirenpu's town center, but it's also close enough that it is able to harass these farmers and deny 2 farms from his opponent. And at this stage in the game, every little bit of damage counts. Why was the Persian Douche strategy a good idea here? I think that's a really, really good point. And it's definitely an interesting one. The reason that it was good in this case is, for one, this strategy won't work all the time, obviously. especially when your opponent scouts it enough in advance. And, you know, he'll see something is up, and definitely GoodBoy did see this coming, of course. It is good in this case, though, because even though GoodBoy spotted it with his scout, he saw the, you know, abnormal, like, huge group of villagers coming. He was not ready in time. And in this matchup, like Persians versus Huns, the Persians are certainly a pretty good civilization, but against the Huns definitely have the early mid-game on lockdown with their very standard cavalry archer harass and their, you know, incredibly strong economy. The Persian economy is good too, but that really starts excelling in the late game. And we've seen this concept before, right, where you're kind of in a race with your opponent. In this case, for the Persians, like, if he has to go for, like, a Scout Rush versus Scout Rush, the Huns one will be a little bit better. And in the Castle Age, you know, the Huns are going to be pressuring you with cavalry archers. The Persians can't keep up with it, but if you can just destroy your opponent's early mid-game like this and literally just remove their town center and just cut the early mid-game out of the game entirely, the Persians have the late game here definitively. The Huns, they only get access to mounted units and trash units and basically siege rims. Their late game unit choices are incredibly limited. No gunpowder there, no onagers. You know, they don't get the hand cannoneers, no bombard cannons, no champions. They're missing out on so much stuff. No arbalists either. Really, like, when it comes to the ultra late game, the Persians have mostly everything. They've got the gunpowder, they also have the same paladins, and, you know, your heavy cavalry archers and paladins are, you know, incredibly obnoxious, of course, but they're not as effective in the late game when you have enough economy that you're able to tech into the appropriate counters. Knights are so strong in the early game because, you know, teching into something like pikemen is very expensive. In the early to mid game, you're not really able to transition between unit types that easily without destroying your economy. So I like the decision to go for the Persian Douche here. It is very all-in, and you have to be incredibly good at it and execute it as well as Nirenpu does. Otherwise, you're basically screwing yourself. It's an all-in type thing, and it's very risky. I do like that he is sending a couple villagers here to go clear out these towers and just try and put the finishing blow, as Red does have his second town center up. So both players here have lost a town center, and they're on their second TC 20 minutes in. Absolutely nuts. The archers over here, of course, have, you know, completely destroyed all the home economy for Nirenpu, so he's gone full nomad, and he's walked all the way over here. This is his new lumber camp. And, well, there might not be that much in the realm of military for Red, but if we take a look at Nirenpu, he's finally clicking up to the feudal age, the slowest feudal age in competitive Aoe2 history. Not literally, but it's definitely one of the slower ones. It's finally clicking up to the feudal age. He'll be there in about 22-ish minutes in. It's very slow. But there are archers here for Red. Red might have almost no economy of any description. Like, his population is absolutely abysmal, guys. We're talking right now, 28 to 22 population, 21 minutes in. Ridiculous. These archers, I mean, he doesn't even have blacksmith, he can't even get fletching, but he has enough of them, and there are no archer access for green. Nirenpu can't actually make any military, and it's just he doesn't have a barracks yet. And it's gonna transition into that period where a barracks is gonna come out from Nirenpu, and Nirenpu is gonna have to go heavy on the stone, because he needs watchtowers to go secure a defensive perimeter. He's gonna have to pull all these villagers back, though, as these archers gonna move in, zone them all out. He needs to build some watchtower stat, as Red is gonna try and surround all of green, zone him out so he can't get any of his economy here. This watchtower in a great position, gonna destroy this wood line. This does so much damage to someone's economy when this happens. You know, especially in the early game, because you not only do you lose 100 wood off the lumber camp, but all those villagers have to go walk somewhere else to go build a lumber camp. They can't go, you know, chop any wood. It does so much damage to the economy. Tower war going on over here. We're gonna see how this one goes, as one of Green's villagers does get sniped here, so good job by Red, is in the right place at the right time. Nirenpu, though, does have the hill advantage. His tower is at the higher elevation, so it's gonna deal more damage and take less. And, well, it's up to Green to go shank this tower down with his villagers, as both players here are going to be trading an immense amount of economy damage. I'm going to speed it up a little bit, as I know that this replay does go on for a little while, although I actually have no idea what actually happens or who wins in the end. But I'm excited, because this is the cripple fight of the century here. Such a big risk with this Persian Douche. I mean, if you screw it up, then you literally lose. And in this case, Nirenpu, you know, was just banking on his execution being perfect and his opponent not being ready for it. If your opponent expects this type of thing from you, then it's probably not going to work, as your opponent can just, you know, wall up. Another reason why this strategy was so good in this specific situation is that Red's map, GoodBoy's map, is just really not conducive for walling, and this, you cannot Persian douche on a closed map very easily. It's much, much worse. I mean, yeah, we can see that GoodBoy could have walled all the way up here, and from here, but this is so much wood, and the walls would be so far away from his actual town center. He'd never be able to get them in time, and then Niranpu would be able to scout out the wall up. But in this case, you know, Niranpu had seen the map. He knows that this map is incredibly hard to wall. The forests are just not positioned correctly in a way where he can, you know, palisade up easily. There's not enough cliffs either. And that makes the Persian douche here so very strong, because he knows his opponent can't wall. It'd be really, really hard for him. If you do get the walls up, of course, you know, you can basically restrict the movement of your opponent's villagers and stall them enough. I mean, sure, he can, you know, stab his way through the walls, but the Persian douche is all about timing. Rushes are all about timing, and if you do get delayed by those palisade walls and you have to go stab your way through there, then it becomes less and less effective every single second that goes by. And yeah, like, if you can't get through the walls because you're fully walled up, then the villagers don't get there to build the town center in time. Your opponent has so much more time to react. The strategy's over. So in this case, it's a good idea because the Huns, it's pretty tricky to keep up with them if you're the Persians in the early mid-game, but you definitely pull so very far in the late game as the Persian economy is great too, and their unit selection's great. And in this case, the map is super duper open, and his opponent was surprised, caught off guard. Skirmisher choice is going to be a good idea to counter these archers, as GoodBoy here, our red Huns player, does not have fletching, and his economy is so very weak. This is one of the lowest econ games I have seen in forever. Both players here, almost no villagers. Another watchtower coming down here for green, and the point of this watchtower is, since he has fletching, this is fantastic, because his watchtower is in range of his opponents, and red can't fire back because he doesn't have fletching, so it's fantastic. Fletching is going to be so important in the situation. This watchtower here will be able to just barely poke at these villagers on this wood line, and when it comes to these low econ, feudal age cripple fights, it's all about zoning your opponent off his resources, denying him wood, basically, and just trying to deny them the exterior resources. This watchtower is going to go down thanks to green having fletching first. He's going to be able to walk up to this watchtower and finish it off, after, of course, whittling it down with his own watchtower. It's all about zoning your opponent off his wood line and just making him constantly move it to another location. I mean, look at how low the resource count is for both players. When will they get to the castle age? Nobody knows. My goodness. And this is so very devastating because red is like running out of wood. Wood is such a precious commodity here. He doesn't have a blacksmith. He's putting one up 29 minutes into the game. Actually, it looks like he's going to delete it. And he's moving his wood line all the way over here. He cannot afford to lose this one. And in these fights, like, your wood line is even more precious because it's so hard to defend. You can't really go for palisades that easily yourself because you don't have the wood really to afford them. And this watchtower is really, really aggressive and greedy, considering it's not in range of another one of his watchtowers to go defend it. So if red pulls off a bunch of villagers, he can end up destroying this one. And this is great. Absolutely great. Both players here literally swapping bases. I love it when this happens, and this is a good idea, and I've seen it happen before. In this case, it's a good idea, and ooh, look at GoodBoy scouting around, trying to find this hidden economy. His players have just fanned out across the map in a true nomad style. He's splitting up his archers, trying to maximize the amount of vision he gets. He's looking for this wood line of green, doesn't find it, and these two guys swapping bases. Now, the tricky part with this, though, is that Niranpu does not have town watch. He might not have noticed that there is a mining camp here mining his own stone. That's really, really cool. GoodBoy here, our red Huns player, banking on the fact that his opponent probably doesn't have town watch. I mean, there's no way he has the economy for town watch, right? He's got to just focus on making villagers. So without town watch, he gets to sneak in here, and as long as he positions his villagers correctly and, you know, they don't stupidly task themselves to this specific stone mine, this one tile line of sight, his opponent has no idea. They have swapped bases. So we just swap over to his vision here. Oh, no, actually, no, he just got town watch, so now he knows. Good on him to get town watch, though. Town watch is very, very important in this case, so he can see if his opponent has decided to swap bases. And the point of this is that towers are, like, when you're dealing with your opponent's watchtowers, they are so incredibly immobile. Like, they can't just get up, like, uproot and just walk somewhere else. If they could, that would be insanely broken. Maybe someday someone will make a mod where towers and castles can get up and walk somewhere else. That'd be pretty ridiculous, guys. Inca's OP, man, with their tower rush. And when it comes to your watchtowers, you know, they can't actually, you know, get up and walk away. So when you walk all the way across the map with your own villagers and you just start mining in your opponent's base, that's just super great. You get to avoid all of your watchtowers. It's all about backing up your economy, backing up the line, moving your stuff somewhere else as your opponent just wastes so much resources on these watchtowers. However, you know, Nirenpu putting on so much pressure here. This is like the most low econ, rushy, aggressive game I have seen in forever. Putting so much pressure on here. This might be another TC down. It might be. No blacksmith up for GoodBoy. He decided to cancel it, and that's a really, really tough call. Oh, okay, but he does build the other blacksmith up here. It looks like he's just actually going to maybe even completely transition bases. I mean, Nirenpu knows this, but Nirenpu is so far away. They've swapped sides of the map. I mean, it'll take forever for the skirmishers to actually get there. He's going to start mobilizing right now, and he has no towers on that side of the map, so that's not going to happen. And he's just trying to stall this side as much as humanly possible. Very, very interesting here, as yeah, it's all about, you know, backing up your economy and just moving it out of your opponent. Another thing, though, is that hiding a lumber camp like all the way over here was just super duper smart on Nirenpu's part, because his opponent actually did not catch that. It did not see that lumber camp. It was in a like at the edge of the map, right? We can see Nirenpu's vision right now. He didn't quite catch that. So by keeping it on the very edge of the map, your opponent's less likely to scout that. Then that's definitely in your favor there, as you can go hide that information. Because I'm sure right now GoodBoy's wondering, like, where's all this wood for Nirenpu coming from? Like, he has so much wood. And it's because he has a secret lumber camp over there with 4 villagers. Some good micro here on GoodBoy does end up walking on the hill to get the elevation advantage. This is the best way to take out these skirmishers. The skirmishers here are pretty bad at killing villagers since they don't really do that much damage. They're like mostly anti-archer units. They're counter units. They don't offer that much offensive presence compared to something like an archer. But with the fletching versus no fletching, these skirms are going to be very, very potent against these archers. GoodBoy, though, does have Nirenpu outnumbered, so the Red Huns player is going to be able to focus fire down these skirmishers. It's important that he doesn't split his focus between them so that he can... When your opponent has like 2 skirmishers like this and you focus fire down 1, then you're taking basically like half the amount of damage. But if you split your focus between 2 of them, you're taking damage from 2 skirmishers for the same amount of time. So you lose a lot more archers. More watchtower cripple fight action going on. It looks like this game is actually going to go on for quite a while. But this is really, really epic. I hope you guys have been enjoying this one so far. Will fletching come out from GoodBoy sometime this year? That is the question, as he just doesn't have the eco for this. Both players here extremely crippled. This game might not even go to the Castle Age. This game might go up to 40 minutes in-game time without any player getting to the Castle Age. And that's why I love looking at these sort of off-meta replays, because sometimes situations like this do arise where a little bit of out-of-the-box thinking is what you need to clinch that victory. Wow, Green's just going to send everything all the way to his own old base and clear out GoodBoy. And this might be the deciding moment, as GoodBoy is just super reliant on this stone mine. He doesn't have his own stone in his base, as it belongs to Nirenpu now. All your base are belong to him. And he really just can't hold his base. Like, he needs some semblance of an economy. And most of his safe economy is all the way over here, but he can't actually gather from this anymore. There's a quick wall up going on over here, but the walls are in such low HP, the skirmishers will be able to get right through this. Desperation Watchtower here will allow him to actually complete this palisade, and thank God that this stone is positioned in a place where it's actually kind of easy to close off. He can't lose this, otherwise he won't be able to build more towers. However, it looks like GoodBoy has managed to clear out all these watchtowers from his own base, so it's really difficult for me to figure out who... It's tough for me to pinpoint who's really going to win this one, but when I look at the population count, I mean, Nirenpu has a lot more villagers, and just a lot more military in general. It's just GoodBoy's still hanging on. He hasn't really lost yet, and if he can get this quick wallop up, then he might be able to live just a little bit longer. Oh, but he's got to be a little bit faster than he's being right now. And with this forward villager here from Nirenpu, he will actually be able to build his own watchtower and just zone red off this stone. With having fletching, then, again, you know, he can shoot at his opponent's tower without the tower being in range, so that's absolutely fantastic. Outrange the enemy tower, get some free shots off. Ooh, this main gold is also in possession of Nirenpu. Red is in deep trouble. He's managed to secure his own town center, but the economy is not strong with this one. He's gonna lose all of these villagers in his in the opponent's base. Oh, they're all gonna die. Desperation Watchtower coming up here. We can see exactly how crappy skirmishers are with, you know, killing villagers, and a little bit of lack of focus fire here from Nirenpu is going to focus fire down the villagers that were escaping rather than the ones that were building the watchtower, so this watchtower will go up. 40 minutes in the game, no player is in the castle age yet, although Nirenpu's economy, our Green Persians player, is on its way. Still only about 38 population here for GoodBoy, as GoodBoy has way too much wood, not enough of anything else, and he's really going to have to make something happen at this point, because his opponent is certainly going to get to the castle age first. And the thing here as well that makes a Persian Douche actually pretty snazzy, a little extra snazzy, is that the Persians' town centers do work a little bit faster. So when your Huns player is missing his town center, your town center is way better in a million different ways and allows you to slowly, incrementally pull ahead. Like, we're missing out on a huge part of why the Huns are actually, you know, so-and-so OP, because they never got to the castle age. There's no camera archer spam, there's no knights that are produced faster from the stable, you don't have any of that. And this game is basically evened out, and now it starts to favor the Persians, so this is just really, really brilliant in this case. Looks like these two ships are gonna pass each other without noticing. Well, that's really unfortunate here. This is where attack move would have come in handy, or a little bit of that patrol action, as Nirenpu is going to miss out on this group of villagers, as GoodBoy is just trying to look for a place where he can go secure more resources, but there's like almost no place on the map to build. He's just gonna need so many more farms. He's just been under so much pressure this game that he hasn't really been focusing as much to balance his economy as he needs to be. Like, he needs like a mill and like a million extra farms, but he wasn't able to gather food for so long because all those watchtowers that were once surrounding his town center. And in this case, if we swap back over to Nirenpu, the Green Persian's perspective, he is on his way up to the castle agent. This might be all she wrote for GoodBoy. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit as he's wandering all of his villagers, the mass exodus, all the way over here to try and find a place to go build a lumber camp. In secret. He's got this outpost over here, so he knows he'll be able to spot in advance when the military is mobilizing from his opponent, so he can react accordingly, put up a quick wall. Another defensive watchtower here. Again, he's trying to claim as much map presence as he can. Here comes the mill, trying to rebalance his eco desperately. The market here is going to be so very, very important, and I'm amazed that he actually got to hold this stone mine, but Nirenpu clearly doesn't value it that much. He's gonna go for bloodlines and then get the knights, and the knights here are gonna be so strong against this watchtower defense. Like, Red really has no substantial military of his own. I actually don't think he has any military units at all anymore. Okay, well, he has, swap over to his perspective. Yeah, he has literally no military units whatsoever, and that's very, very unfortunate for him. As these watchtowers not going to be very effective against these knights, again, especially without fletching these knights, they're just too tanky. They have 3 defense, so they're going to take like almost no damage here, and with bloodlines they're going to be extra bulky. Well, looks like actually GoodBoy did manage to, you know, build a market here, which he absolutely had to do, and rebalance his economy. He had to do this. Like, there's no point for him to just wait until he could reassign all of his villagers and fix it manually, man. He just had to build a market, buy and sell all of his resources, trade them for different resources so that he could get his way up to the castle age. And he's down, but not out quite yet. Barracks with some spearmen. Desperation attempt, but spearmen not so good against these knights. They're really not that amazing, especially with the +2 defense here. The reason that like knights are oh so very strong in Age of Empires 2 is it's very hard for your opponent to actually like reasonably counter them in the early to mid game where knights shine, because like while spearmen and pikemen are obviously very cost efficient here, I mean they don't cost any gold, so when you're trading them for knights, sure the knight beat you one-on-one, but you're winning a lot more in the long run because you're saving so much more resources. The problem with pikemen and spearmen in general is that like their upgrades, like the pikeman research just is so very expensive and it takes quite a while, whereas knights are just good from the get-go. You don't have to research any technology to get knights, you just start doing it when you're in the castle age, and spearmen alone without the pikeman upgrade are just not very good against knights. You need so many spearmen, oh so many spearmen. It's a lot easier to just massive knights in this case as well, since the knights do win one-on-one. You're going to need a lot more barracks to be able to, you have to outnumber the opponent's knights, and it's just going to be so very tricky. The battering ram's coming out here. I believe that is all she wrote for GoodBoy, unfortunately. He's up to the castle age miraculously, so well played on his part, but he's going to need so many more spearmen than he has. The barracks is already down. This is why knights are so strong, because you have to be able to outnumber those knights, but it's so hard early on in the game. You're not going to have the, the wood to be able to put down like 4 or 5 barracks. In the late game, of course, you know, definitely halberdiers, spearmen, and whatnot are totally worth it once you get all the upgrades, but getting them going to be so very hard. Quick wall up here. Panic quick wall is not gonna, ooh, just barely gonna protect a couple of his villagers, but some of them are gonna get isolated here. He's gonna go for his own knights, as he knows the going for spearmen here is a lost cause, and he also needs something to take out these battering rams. The spearmen do not have enough attack power to take out the battering rams, which have very low melee armor. In fact, it's actually less than 0, believe it or not. They actually do take more damage from melee attacks, substantially more. They're very much immune to ranged attacks, though. Knights are going to be the way to go here, and, you know, I think that's pretty much all she wrote for GoodBoy, but on the flip side, GoodBoy here, with his market at the last minute, and also with the stone mine that he secured for himself, does have a castle. He's not going to lose this TC yet. This game is crazy. I cannot believe it's not over yet, but GoodBoy has a chance. He has a chance. He's so far behind, okay, he is literally half the population, so it's a little bit of a stretch, but he's not quite dead yet. He's not quite dead yet because he has this castle. His opponent can't quite commit to it. And he's gonna, you know, just commit to building another town center in his opponent's base. So he's still really, really all about this idea of just switching bases with the enemy, and, you know, both players here with their just random exterior mining camps and whatnot. Very, very important. Just spread out your villagers all over the place. Your opponent can't be everywhere at once, and that way you get a lot of free villagers. The only thing that would make this replay even crazier is if there's some Tarkans on the way, but I severely doubt it, as Red's economy is so tiny you need a microscope to see it. He needs some farms, he needs something, he's got a lot of gold, he needs another market, I don't know. The Knights are over here with the +2 defense and the Bloodlines. They're going to be so very strong for raiding. That's why you prioritize the defense upgrades, so they take so little damage from those arrows. No fletching here, of course, yet from Red, as again, his eco's so weak, he has to spend all of that on his own villagers, and he's really just in a bad position here. Oh, the +1 attack. It's interesting that he got forging in this case. You know, I guess he's thinking about the Knight versus Knight fight and just, like, cleaning out those rams a little bit more. You do kill villagers a lot faster with the +1 attack, but I don't know. The fletching choice is actually kind of interesting here. I feel like, the forging choice is very, very interesting. Definitely a little bit not standard, but we'll see if it pays off in this case. Really, he's just so far behind in his economy. Like, sure, he has this castle here, but really, it seems like it's stalling the inevitable. The Knight raiding is just going to do so much damage to his economy. You know, all these villagers that are garrisoned inside here, they might as well be dead. They're just idle. And, well, you know, the Knights are actually going to clean this one up, as it looks like Nirimpu does have to pull out a little bit. These skirms, obviously, that he was really teched into to counter those archers, aren't going to be very useful against these Knights here. Just such a weak economy from GoodBoy. I mean, really, the only way I can imagine him possibly coming back in this game is with, like, a market or something. He's just spreading out all over the map, trying to get in as many places as physically possible. And actually, with all this gold, he's just going full monks. 54 minutes in, he's not quitting yet. Ridiculous, but I admire that tenacity. We'll see if it pays off, as this forward siege workshop here from, well, I say forward siege workshop, it's actually in his own old base. It is technically forward in this case, as they've swapped sides. Nirimpu's gonna, you know, just put out a battering ram or something like that, and it's gonna be all she wrote for that TC. But, you know, GoodBoy is all the way across the map. He is everywhere. There's just such a massive population discrepancy. He's not dead yet. You know, this reminds me of the Black Knight here from Monty Python. But, you know, he's so far behind in this case. It's going to take a miracle to save him. There's just so many Knights here. Sure, he's got the monks, but are the monks enough? I'm going to say no, as there's just too many Knights from green. Nirimpu is just going to commit to this here, and alright, now, there's, like I said, there's a miracle market. The only thing that could possibly save him, grabbing relics here, Nirimpu is, of course, this is one monk inside here. Nirimpu's gonna have to pull it again. You know, getting through this castle is gonna be a massive pain in the butt. You know, GoodBoy is gonna garrison some of his guys inside his castle, so they do heal up just a little bit. And every little bit counts in this case. And monks are always great against knights, because knights are so expensive. Converting them is definitely a very cost-efficient way to go deal with them. Wow, he's really committing to building some eco over here, and I don't know about this. This is pretty risky, considering his opponent absolutely knows about this. Although it looks like his opponent knows where all of the eco is. He's just trying to boom up as much as he can. He knows he's super behind in the population department. He just has to boom up to have any chance of winning this game. Wow, this is a long replay, man. Long replay. Another little bit of a knight fight going on here, although it looks like, oh wow. All these converted knights, getting some serious value. It's basically like killing a knight, and then like you get another knight. It's fantastic. Wow, good boy, not giving up here with the double barracks on this side. He's just moving his economy. He's trying to be a little bit everywhere at the same time. And Nirenpu, again, with another little bit of that forward with the double siege workshop. But good boy has seen this, of course, with this outpost, and that's why he built that there in the first place. He's going to lose all of these town centers over here, and you know, this base is not super duper useful. I mean, it's actually reaching that late game scenario. He's now down to a third population. Now, he's trying his damnedest to win because, I mean, the reason that the strategy is called the Persian Douche is because it's kind of like a jerk strategy. It is about as all in as they get. You look up cheese or laming in a dictionary and you basically find a picture of a Persian town center in there. Because, yeah, it's as all in as it gets. It either works or it doesn't. And in this case, it definitely worked. It did so much damage. The pikemen finally coming out here as Good Boy does have enough economy to finally support the pikemen, and this is when, you know, it starts to favor Good Boy because the pikemen will be able to trade so very efficiently with these knights. The knights are very heavily upgraded themselves. The thing here, though, is that there's just no economy here from Red. Nirenpu is literally pop-capped. Red, nowhere near it. He's just hasn't been given a chance to breathe yet. He's trying his best, but the thing here, though, is that Nirenpu is just at such a huge eco lead, but Red won't give up yet because he does have the better army composition in this case. He will be able to trade favorably, and these monks, just the kings of value. He's behind so much in population, but he's not giving in yet. He refuses to give up, and, well, maybe. Maybe. He's sending all these pikemen forward right now, which might be a big mistake, as he's a little bit desperate here. This is pretty greedy. As, by Red sending all of his pikemen to try and pick off these battering rams, he's leaving his town centers, like, open to being destroyed by these knights. He'll be able to kill the battering rams, actually, which, Green isn't really running them away. Like, I say kill them, I mean, like, really, really, really slowly. Zones all those villagers away, the knights do. Well, since Nirenpu isn't, like, seriously committing to this and just trying to blow up this town center, it's not even at full HP, going for these battering rams will actually pay off, as he's going to lose all those battering rams. He's going to lose literally all of them. Okay, well, if Nirenpu hasn't won yet, the one thing that's really going to seal the deal here is obviously the Imperial Age. I mean, once a Trebuchet comes out or something like that, what's Red going to do? The Trebuchet is the real stall breaker in this case, and Red just refuses to give up. This is epic, but the Trebuchet is going to seal the deal here, no matter what. Oh, all those battering rams, all those knights taken down the drain. Nirenpu not being able to take a very, very efficient engagement. And wow, I mean, Good Boy has managed to even out the population difference a little bit. He's no longer, he no longer has a third of the population of his opponent. He's now down to about half of the population, so baby steps, guys. He's working on it. Incremental lead. Still though, I mean, he's so very far behind, I can't possibly imagine this. I mean, maybe. I don't know how long this replay goes on for. I didn't realize that I selected one of the longest replays that Cision so generously gave me, so, you know, once again, thank you so much to Cision and the rest of the AOC Box team for supplying me with so many of these replays. I mean, like, Good Boy, like, he just doesn't have an economy, and there's really just no place to build it, and there we go, alright, he's finally calling it quits. Sure, he has all these pikemen, he has the army, he can take the cost-efficient engagements, but the map control is just so thoroughly in favor of Green. It's so far in favor of Green, and Green's like literally Bill Gates right now. He has so much cash, it doesn't matter. He can afford to take these, you know, not very cost-efficient engagements versus the pikemen and lose all those battering rams, lose all those knights. He can afford to lose all that just to deal damage to his opponent's eco, keep him boxed in, keep the pressure on, and just clinch out this game. Really, really slow loss here from Red. He tried his best to recover, but the Persian Douche is just too strong. This is about as, like, different and non-standard of a strategy as you'll see in AoE2, and I love that something like this exists. And one of the reasons why I'm such a big fan of Age of Empires 2, compared to some more modern RTS games, is that there's, like, basically no restrictions in AoE2. No one tells you where you can and can't build buildings, right? Like, you can delete your town center at the start and just go build it wherever you want. You can build your walls wherever you want as well. Towers, castles, all of this stuff. Like, there's no zone that's like, this is my area and whatnot. Like, you can't do this in Age of Mythology, obviously, because you have to, you know, build your town center on a settlement, and, well, I mean, yeah, this is what you get in Age of Empires 2. There's just so much freedom in the game engine. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to build your, you know, your A simulator on like a Vespine gas geyser. You can build your mining camps wherever you want, and that level of freedom leads to ridiculous strategies like this being possible in very, very specific situations. Well, GG, well played. I have to say that this was a great game here from GoodBoy and Nirenpu. Cool to see a Persian douche, as this strategy is definitely uncommon. But it has its merits, it does, and we can see the power of it in this case. It was such a close game. I mean, you wouldn't really know it from the size of the economy here, but look at the units killed, the units lost. Like I said, Red was taking the cost-efficient engagements there, but Green could afford to lose his guys and waste a lot of resources because he just had so many more villagers. 157 to 65 villager high. Absolutely nuts. The Monk choice was also very, very good. GoodBoy demonstrating how to play from behind 101, trying to take those cost-efficient fights. Mangonels are great when your opponent outnumbers you with ranged units, and Monks are great when your opponent outnumbers you with Knights. I mean, this was a much closer game than it appeared, but a slow and steady death from Red. Look at the feudal age timing difference. It just goes to show that when you trade town centers with your opponent and you cripple the Huns this badly, then all of a sudden their bonuses don't really matter. The shoe on the other foot this game, pretty crazy, and this is one trick that the Persians have up their sleeve. Really what sealed the deal here, though, is definitely getting to the Imperial Age, access to trebuchets, cavaliers. That huge technology advantage was the stall breaker in this case. If you can't close out a game, get to the Imperial Age, boom, your Castle Age opponent is down for the count. I think in general, most of my Break the Meta series will be shorter than this, but this game was mucho long. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this anyway. As always, I really appreciate your feedback. The positive reception of this has been overwhelming. For a long time, I've been thinking of ways to sort of mix up the format, because, you know, Age of Empires 2 is a game that doesn't really change, and I've been trying to keep things fresh, and I'm really glad that this idea has actually turned out to be pretty successful. I'm very happy with this one. So keep leaving me your comments, guys. Keep giving the like rating. Helps out a lot with the exposure. I'd love to see you guys, of course, at my weekly Twitch TV live streams. It's a great place to play with me, against me, and just hang out and ask me questions. It's a fun little place. Love to have you guys. Links to everything you need and more, obviously, in the video description. And yeah, your support, very much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. I got plenty of other Age of Empires 2 videos on my YouTube page. And of course, see you guys next time. GG, well played. GoodBoy and Nirenpu. Fun to see something a little bit different.